Hello there, it's Jay here from Jay's Vintage Junk, and today, yes, we're back on with the epic customer returns repair marathon. Now, I must admit I've done a couple more off camera. Well, I did film them, but to be honest, the repairs were so simple that it's not bothered showing them. I've sorted this one out. Remember this from the I'll bring you down. Remember this one from a previous video. And in this one, it was the same as, which one was it? The black one that I did. Basically, the in here, what the CD sits on there was sat down on one side so the CD wouldn't spin. It was touching the actual plastic there. And I thought it would be the same as the black one, just one of the little posts broke off. It was even simpler than that. I'll show you on this scrap. Basically, we've got the laser mechanism there, and all that had happened is one of these little rubbers there had, I think it was, I can't remember which one it was, but I think it was one of these front ones. One of these little rubbers had basically just popped through. Basically, it had pushed through like that. So it was sitting like that rather than actually as it should do in the gap like that, and that was just causing it to drop that little bit. And all I did was take the screw out, pull it out, put the rubber bush back where it should be, refixed it, and that sorted that one out. Like I'm saying, they are incredibly simple fixes with most of these so far. This one, again, incredibly simple fix with this one. If you remember this one when we looked at it, fine on it. The aux port seemed to work fine, but the radio wouldn't play. And what I discovered is the way that you switch between radio and the aux input on this is actually when you insert the cable, it actually switches a little switch inside, and that disables the radio and connects the aux port. And all I did was took some switch cleaner, give a couple of shots of switch cleaner down there, put an aux stereo jack in and out a couple of times, and that was it. The radio just started playing, so all it was a bad contact in there. I have tried it many times now, and it's working absolutely fine. So, like I said, it must have just been a little bit of crud that I got in there and jammed the switch up. That's cleared off. So that one, I still need to clean that one, but that one's ready to go. So I thought we'd have a look at something different than these little CD radios, and thought we'd start with this. Now, this isn't anything I'm going to sell. Let me get you down and zoomed in a bit so you can actually see this thing. I quite like little, I must admit I do, no, it's a bit too far into it. There we go, you can see that okay, can't you? Yeah, you can see that alright. I quite like these little pocket radios like this. I call them toolbox radios, and that's exactly what I'll do with this if we can get it working. If it was boxed and with its instructions and everything, its little headphones and what have you, I would probably stick it on eBay for a £5, but as it's not, it's just the radio. It's more use to me to stick in one of my toolboxes, because like I said, they're brilliant. You can throw them in all your toolboxes, and if you're on the job somewhere and you want some music, you can just pull the thing out and you've got a little FM radio. I will put some batteries in and show you what it's doing. Pinch some batteries out of I've been listening to that as well while I've been working. Not the tape on it, just the radio is actually really nice on these little Bush tape radio players. And I'll stick some batteries in this. There we go. I don't need to put the back on. And if we switch on, you can hear we're not getting anything, but if you press on the volume control, and I let go of the volume control, it goes off again. Press on the volume control, let go of the volume control. So I think hopefully we've just got a little dry joint in there. So I thought we'd do this as the first one, as a nice simple little, hopefully simple little fix. And hopefully it is just a dry joint in this one. But you heard that, it's a really clear, crisp little radio. It'll be a brilliant toolbox radio, this, for one of my toolboxes. Now, I've tidied all my tools up, and now I bet I can't find my handle for my screwdriver, my multi-screwdriver. If I'm done with it. So just bear with me a second. Ooh. Yeah, it's buried right at the bottom of this drawer with my tools in it. Bloody typical, isn't it? There we go. Put that away. Trying to be as disciplined as possible and actually keep my workbench reasonably clean. Right, we've got a... hopefully we can find a small Phillips to get them out. Yeah, that should do. Let's pop the batteries back out. I think we need them out to be able to gain access to it. We'll get them out for now. Got 2 screws on the back. Hope you can see all this alright, because it looks really dark on my viewfinder, but I found that before, and then when I've actually put it on the computer it's been fine. But it's always a little bit worrying. Right, let's see if we can get in here. Can't see any more screws. I think it is just them 2 screws there, but it's... ah, there we go, a couple of clips. Right, so we've got the FM antenna, battery positive and battery negative down there, and this is the little switch. This is where I think the issue is. I'm wondering, is one of these flexing and causing a break? Well, I can't see that, it don't look. I'm going to put the batteries back in. This is going to be a bit tricky with the way it, the battery actually stay in the centre section here, but we might be able to balance them in there. Because I can't see a broken solder joint. I'm not sure. Oops! And then we've broke the. We've not broken it, but the connection's popped out there now. Let's see if we can push it back in. It's a bit tricky to do, as I said. There we go. Right, now hopefully we can switch it on. And it bloody works. So why is it working now? We've got the back off and it wasn't working before. Yeah, that's fine. Every time. Ah. Now it's played up again. Is the switch actually broken? I wonder if the switch has actually been broken, you know. Because the switch does move. Let me just try shorting these 2 bits of metal out. Ah, it brings it on. So I think what's happening is it's these. Now that won't switch back off now. There's something wrong with the little switch mechanism here, basically. It's not allowing it to switch properly. And that's gone back. I think what I'm going to have to do with this one, I don't know if you can actually see this. I don't think I can actually zoom in close enough for you to see this actually, unfortunately. Let's try. But basically what's happening is, I think the switch mechanism, I wonder if this thing's been dropped. It's actually cracked the switch mechanism in here. because that's working now. But every now and again that little switch mechanism comes out of alignment, and basically that little pin there drops down there so it can't actuate. I might, because I'm not going to sell this. I'm going to keep this myself. I'm tempted just to reassemble it as it is and see how that goes. And then eventually, you know, if it does fail and it stops working, I can perhaps just put a new switch in. I mean, there's nothing fancy about that. I've probably got some scrap boards that got a similar switch or exactly the same switch on them. Let's try putting it back together and see if it still works when I've put it back together. Of course, because that's the whole thing, that you reassemble it and then it decides it's not going to work once reassembled. And then we'll have to go and have a look for a new switch on it for it. There we go, that's back together. Yeah, let's also click back in, let's see if it still works. Yeah. Oops, I better... sorry about that, you won't have seen very much there, I still had the camera zoomed in. It seems to work alright.
So I said, how have we got round to this? And he...
That's exceedingly rare. That
Yeah. Switch it off. Switch back on. Right, so that one, actually I'm not planning to sell that anyway. All I'm going to do, I'll just keep my eye on it. Obviously, if that switch does fail completely, I'll have to put a new switch in it. But that's just a nice little toolbox radio. It's actually quite loud. It's louder than I was expecting for such a tiny little radio. Oh, that actually, it has AM on it as well. Try it one more time. Try AM. It's not a brilliant AM radio. It works. Yeah, it's not too bad. But FM on it's really quite good. Yeah. Make a lovely little toolbox radio, that. So I've put that to one side. And what I thought else we'd have a quick look at in this video, because we've got a few of them, which I did show one in the other video, are these things. Now we've got one, we've got two, and then this was a surprise because I didn't realise this. We've got number 3, but number 3 is actually the DAB version. So we've got an AM FM radio and we've got a digital DAB radio built into it as well. These are a little bit more, I mean, people do like these obviously because they're they've got the classic style to them, but they do have the digital radio built into them. The other two behind it are really, really cheap, nasty, bog standard, just an AM FM radio in a fancy vintage looking case. I mean, there's nothing vintage about these at all. The original ones, they kind of imitate the Bush TR-82, but they're not even a copy. The original ones were pretty much a copy of the original TR-82, as well. These are just kind of like a homage to it. They're a similar kind of shape. I have got a transformer set up. I know we did try one of these in the last video, and I don't think it did anything at all. But I've got they only need 5 volts these to run. They just want 5 volts at an amp, so I've got a 5 volt 1 amp power supply here. Right polarity, and it's the right plug. So I thought we'll see what we can do with them. Let's try the first one, and the power lights come on it. Let's try FM. I mean, this is more than I was getting when I was trying just powering it off my bench power supply, so perhaps it does need the full 1 amp. But can't actually hear anything coming out of it, and I've got the volume open wide. Try AM. That turns to green for AM again. So it's getting power, but there's absolutely zero volume coming out of it. There's nothing coming out of it at all. Let's try the next one. Now this one, it's actually missing its dial off there, and it does look a bit broken, because I don't think this is going to do anything either, because the actual the bit in there that you then put the tuning dial on, I think that's broken as well, so I'm not holding out that much hope this one's going to do anything, but FM works. Try AM.
Also Navigator and Clock's annoyed, you know, with all the
AM works. I don't think we're going to be able to tune it though. Sort of. So the tuning should actually work, it's just whatever's broken off in there. So, we might actually have a chance, at least we can make one good one out of them two, if nothing else. I mean, obviously we're missing the dial off that, so it is basically scrap. So we can definitely make one good one out of them two. Let's have a look at this one. So this is a DAB one. We plug power into this. It does use the same 5 volts, I presume, anyway. Yes, it does. Let's see what this one does. Switch it on. And, oh, I'm going to say absolutely nothing, but if you look there, it's come up. Well, it must be sort of working, because the it's actually set the time and date. I presume it gets that straight off the digital signal, but that's correct. You know, it's 21:14. It's the 19th of the 10th, 2018. That's right. Let's see if we can get any music on it. That's quite surprising. I wasn't expecting it to power up. Select. I don't think it does. Can't get it to do anything. I wonder if that's what's wrong with it. Oh, well, standby works. It's going into standby. Can't seem to get any other buttons to do anything. I can't get any volume out of it. Well, that button works. Oh, hang on. Absolute. Oh, it must have been trying to search for... Right. Volume. Well, it shows on the display there, but it doesn't do anything. But it does appear to be actually playing a station. I wonder if we plug a... plug a little external amplifier into it, and or actually I'll just plug a pair of headphones into it, see if I get anything out of the I presume it has got headphones out. Yeah, it does. I wonder if we're getting anything out of it at all. I've got a pair of headphones here that I've tried. I don't know if I've got any that I've actually tested yet that work. What can we use to try it? Oh, hang on. I've got some PC speakers here, that'd do. Yeah, that'll do. I've got an old, some old Sony PC speakers here. So there, I've got an amplified speaker. Just to see if we've got anything. Just to see if we've got anything coming out of the headphone socket. You hear that? And the volume on there works.
In cinemas now.
Are you sitting comfortably?
So it sounds like we've got something wrong with the power amplifier section on that one.
Shape, style, and fabric combinations to find a
that seems to work.
right for you.
I wonder if the FM side of it works as well. Does it have to get all its stations again? I must admit I'm not all that well up with DAB. I've only got one DAB radio and that's on my boat. I don't know, I'm so we've obviously got a power amplifier problem with that one. So we have output from headphones, but we haven't got output from the actual unit itself. Unless it's just a bad speaker. It could be. Let's try the same experiment on that other one that was completely dead. See if that does the same thing. Yeah, this one. No. That one is completely dead. So which one should we start on first? Should we start on the DAB one or should we... Oh no, we'll leave the DAB one for later. We might even leave that for another video. We'll play with these two and we'll see if we can get one good working one out of the two of these. Because we know this one does work, it's just it's obviously sustained physical damage. The case on this one is actually in much nicer condition. Let's open up this one that's not working at all, and let's see if it's something really simple like a. When I say it's not working at all, we are getting the LEDs lighting on the top, but we're not getting any audio out of it. We'll see if it's anything really simple in it. Like I say, it could be as simple as just a bad speaker or something like that. Or even just a disconnected speaker. Although, no it can't be. It must be something more complicated or else we'll be getting audio out of the headphone jack at the back there. Anyway, let's get in it and see what we find. It'll be interesting to see. I've got a slightly bigger screwdriver. See exactly how crappy these things have got inside. Cause I mean, the old, the TR-82 remake that they brought out some years ago, it was not a patch on the original TR-82. Well, it wouldn't be. But they weren't too bad a radio. At least the earliest ones, the early ones, because it was a proper radio circuit in them. By the end of them things, they were pretty horrible and they just basically used a one-chip solution. Which is no doubt what this thing's got in it. I mean, the old remake ones, they were somewhat useful. Because there was a couple of like trim bits off them that you could pinch and actually use on the real thing. I can't remember what it was. No, it could have been like the handle and the dial or something, or the pointer or something like that. It weren't very much. Quite a lot of screws holding these together. They haven't skimped on the screws, which is unusual, especially for cheap tap like this. Come on out. Oh, I'll get it out when I turn it upside down. There we go. Right, let's have a look inside this thing. And prepare to be shocked. Yeah, very shocked. Dear me. There is very little in here. Right, that's weird. Let's try and get this a little bit further apart. That is very weird. some tape holding the right. Tape on feet. Dear me, this is, yeah, that's literally it. Hopefully you can see that. Is that showing up alright? I can't really tell. Ah, yes it is. That is literally it. But what's this? Why have we got the AM aerial in like a metal cage? I've never seen that before in my life. And you've got silver foil, like silver shielding on the back here. So that'll be over there. So your AM aerial is going to be incredibly directional, because it's like, basically, apart from the ends, it's going to be in like a shielded cage. That's bizarre. That is really, really weird. I mean, apart from that, we've got a little potentiometer there, which is our tuning. We've got not a bad little 4 ohm 3 watt speaker. It's very much like we find in them boom boxes. That's not too bad. I've just got to wonder, why aren't we getting any audio? I can see a very poorly looking capacitor on the back board there. Looks like it's blown its top for some reason. Someone put the wrong power supply up this at some point, I wonder. Has someone tried running this on a 12 volt power supply? Could that be what's killed it? That could be a very real possibility, because most things like this you expect, 12 volt power supply. As I said, this is a 5 volt power supply. Let's get that little board out there and have a closer look at it. It could be curtains for this radio then. It really could, because this, like I say, this has not got much filtering and regulation in it, and it's took a hit from 12 volts. Oh, well, sorry about that. I hope we didn't lose anything there. My the card in my camera just did a funny thing. It just said slow speed card, please change down resolution, which is really, really weird, because it's never ever done that before. I wonder if that card's getting to its last legs. Well, I'll persevere with it, because I don't want to have to go hunting for another card right now. But oh dear, looks like I might have to be investing in a new, well, at least a couple of new SD cards for my camera. Right, we've got that out. I'll take this off and show you. I'm pretty sure, yeah, someone unfortunately has run this at, I don't know if you can see that there. Some two nice bulgy, come on focus. You see them two nice bulgy capacitors there. And those are rated at 10 volts. So, yeah, possibly they've been run at 12 volts. Well, both them caps have blown. It does not bode well for the rest of this radio, unfortunately, because there's a very, very good chance that's basically killed the main board there, because it was probably expecting just 5 volts. We'll try taking that board out. I mean, fortunately, looking at the design of this thing, what we should be able to do is disconnect all these connections, whip that board out, take the board out of that one which is scrap, which is actually sustained the physical damage, put that one in here, and have a fully working unit. What it doesn't bode well for is possibly that DAB one. With it being so surface mounting this thing, we'll have a look at it, but I don't know if we'll have a look at it in this video or in another video, but it's so surface mount, I don't know whether it's going to be worth trying to actually repair. We can have a look at it. It could be something simple, you never know. We're going to have to swap the the ferret core, the ferret aerial as well, and that's glued in place. And oh, that's can I just get the screwdriver in there to get that screw out? Yeah. But on the plus side, there's some really cool, useful, salvageable parts in this, especially for people that like messing about with radio circuits. I mean, this tuning core here, it's a medium wave tuning coil with lens wire coming off it. You could reuse that for an AM radio project. And in fact, I might do that. In fact, yes, I will do. The bits that I salvage out of the scrapper, which is basically going to be this one, like that ferret, I'm going to use that and build like a 1-valve receiver with it, or a couple of valve receiver with it, or something, just to show. And I'll probably reuse the spare speaker as well, and possibly some other little bits. But it'll be a fun little project anyway, and it'll show what we can use some of the dross out of this for. I'm going to... Should I desolder the aerial, or I'd have to get it off there, and I need a screwdriver to get in there to get that. So I'll just desolder it from here and solder it back on. It's take less time, to be honest. Come on, wire. There we go, that's it. Let's see how hard this is going to be to remove. It's going to want me to take the whole bloody thing apart, isn't it? Let's see. Hopefully we can pull this board out now. Yes, we can. So basically, although there doesn't look to be any damage on that, we will possibly play with it. Oh dear. Oh yeah, that's never working again. If we look on the bottom here, I don't know if this is going to come out on camera, but if you look at that IC there, can you see it out? Can you actually spot it there? But the centre of the IC is actually blown out completely. There's a small crater in the centre of the IC there. Yeah, that's never going to work again. So yeah, I'm pretty certain what's happened to this thing is someone's plugged a transformer. It could have even been like an 18-volt laptop transformer or something like that. Because with them being 10-volt caps, I can't see 12 volts blowing them like that. Not unless it was for a very long time. I think it's more likely some possibly plugged an old laptop supply up it or something like that and gave it a full 18 volts, which obviously they don't like them up it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up. In fact, I'll just pause the camera while I do this, so you don't need to see that. I'm going to extract the board from the other scrap radio, the one that we know actually works, and we'll come back when we're actually going to put this thing back together. So just pause you for a little bit. Right, well, I've got all the screws out of that now. Just saved a couple of minutes on the video, so let's have a look inside here and see what we can see. Well, first of all, obviously that board there is fine. It's not got blown and bulgy capacitors on it. So even though that other board is obviously still working to some extent, we'll use the one off. In fact, we could use the entire back, couldn't we? So it saves us messing about. Let's do that. What we'll do, we'll snip that wire there. And we'll use the whole back. That saves us having to mess about, because they're both identical and neither of them are damaged. So that'll just save us a little bit of hassle redoing all that lot, because we know all that's absolutely fine. So let's get that out of the way. In fact, I didn't have to cut. We really had to cut that wire, though it has made life a bit easier for us to work on it. Because that bit's going to be going with this bit. I could have left them connected. Really, that was silly of me. We'll use this ferret rod aerial. Seems to have lost the nut off it. That I suppose what we could have done is just putting a new nut on there and tighten it down. But there's a lot more. The front's actually not in as good a condition on this one as it is on the other one. So we will actually do what I said we'd do, and we'll swap everything over. Disconnect that from there. Disconnect that from there. And disconnect that from there, like that. We'll take this board out. So I have to take this board, this piece of plastic out as well, so we can release that. We should be able to get the bit we want out. Yes, we can. So that's all what we want. And get that one out of the way for now. Which one of them's better? There's really not a lot of difference in it, but we'll see, this is already all together, we'll put this one in. Oops. Fortunately, there's little guides and slots where everything slots in, so you can't go too far wrong. There we go. And all we need to do is put the screws back in and hold that in place. This really has been another super simple little repair, really. Feed that round where it needs to go, and we'll secure the ferret rod back in place. I do not know why they've used that shielding though. That's really, really weird. That's really like counterintuitive with an AM signal, because they hate shielding round them. Oops. Get back in there, you little bugger. There we are. That's not quite tightened down yet. That's got it. That's nice and secure again. Now I can plug that back in there. I'll put them screws back in before we forget as well. Just hold this board actually in the case. And basically just got two little runners, one at either side, and these are like an end stop. So once it's in its runner it can't slip back out again. A very similar technique was used in TVs for years to keep the main board in TVs and monitors. You just took two screws out and it'd slide out of a track. There we go. And to reconnect the front panel to this main board, like that. Connect the speaker up, like that. We need to do something about the aerial. I think what we'll do, oops, just strip that off. We'll do the same with the back. Like that. And I'll just stick a little bit of heat shrink on that. I don't know why I cut that really, that were a bit of a silly thing to do, I didn't need to. What the bloody hell have I just done with my snips? I've literally just used them to strip that wire. Ah, there they are. Cut a little piece of heat shrink. Put it over there. We'll just where's a bit of solder? Where's my solder gone? Where's my solder? That'll do. We can stick a bit of heat shrink over that. Like that. We'll give that a quick shrink down. Like that. And no one will ever be the wiser. Right, so all we need to do now, reconnect that with that. We've got our good board which hasn't been melted. Basically we've transplanted the internals from that radio with the missing front dial on it. Take them, we've got two sets of feet here. So we've transplanted the internals from that one into this one that's obviously had the over voltage. Which is not repairable. I said that IC there is cremated, it's been blown to kingdom come, so that ain't ever going to work again. But there's still some really useful parts in that radio which we can salvage. So it's not a complete disaster. I mean, this radio's not worth anything at all, really. I'll tentatively stick it on, possibly for a £5. And I'd be happy to take £2 for it. But it saves it from just going for recycling. And that's the whole point of this. That otherwise, all this stuff would just end up going to the big recyclers where it just goes into a giant chipper and gets chipped up for the plastic, and the electronics get ground up for the metals that can be recovered, and it's a massive waste. It's not, modern recycling isn't really proper recycling, it's just recovery of a few base materials. Proper recycling, you reuse in its current form as much as you possibly can. Your absolute last thing to do is just to reclaim what you can from it. So it's absolute criminal the amount of perfectly usable, or at least properly recyclable, in stripping down and reusing actual component parts of to build other things. Now, I'm not talking like safety critical things, but especially for us hobbyists, I'll get off my rant anyway. Yep, there's a hole in that. Right. Let's see if it's going to work. Put the power up it. Switch on. There we go. Not a bad little radio, really. Sounds okay.
It's radio.
Actually, it's a really quite sensitive radio.
From Forum Health. You adjust what? Mulling things out.
Try AM.
Through to Tokyo in 2020. GB Boxing have been Barcelona through Johan
Not bad.
Cruyff.
That's quite a sensitive AM radio as well, more so than I was expecting. The FM was really good on it. Yeah. So there we go, that's another one saved. Pity these don't sell for more really, because that's actually quite a nice, like I say, it's a great kitchen radio. It really is another nice little kitchen radio. That's really most of these, the bedroom and kitchen radios, that's what they're at the best for really. And get that out of the way. And we're going to save out of that as well. Well, we'll save that, that'll go in my scrap box, that. Purely because I can reuse that jack connector off it. That aux port is quite an interesting one because it's got the switch on the back. It's the same as on that CD player there, where when you put the jack in it, it's actually got a little latching switch that tells whatever that yes, it's got a cable connected to it or not. So that'll certainly be kept for just them parts on it, even though the caps have gone. So that'll go in my scrap box. I mean, that's just got a couple of LEDs. Saying that, I'll probably put that in my, take that board off and that can go in my box. It's got 3 LEDs on it that could come in handy. And that bit of cable, you never know. We've got the original board off it. I mean, the board is basically useless. Well, that's a switch actually, it's a 3-way switch. So, again, it will go in my scrap box. Just because these switches could come in handy for something else. And that volume pot, it's actually a stereo 50k volume pot. Don't know why they bother using a stereo one, because it's only a mono radio, but it is, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's basically brand new, so that'll come in handy for another repair. And that little ferret rod there, that I will use on a radio project. Like I said, I might, because it's a very simple one. It's only really got like 1, possibly 2 windings on it. So on proper nice long length wire, and the way it is like that, it's perfect just to mount, you know, on a project. I could do a few projects with it. I might build a simple transistor radio. I might do like a very simple valve radio as well. Probably super het. I'm not sure yet. It could be a TRF set. Might be super het or a sharp super het. I don't know. Just something I might play with in the future. That, but a really nice little ferret rod that can definitely be used for a radio project there. And it's just bizarre that they have it set like that. I really don't know the. Obviously it works. It must work because the AM reception wasn't half bad on that. But even that will come in handy. You never know when you need a piece of thin metal like that. So that'll go in my scrap my little scrap metal box. Again, very handy to keep. That little front pot that was used on there. There's actually nothing I can see wrong with it. It's a 100k. Could come in handy. It was literally just the fact that the nuts come off it. So that's why I pushed back into the back of the unit. So I'll probably put that in with my pots because there's nothing wrong with it. That'll come in handy for a future project. We'll have that speaker out of here because that speaker's going to be a nice little. Providing it works. In fact, we can test that. We'll basically we put a meter on the kiloohms range across the speaker. You should hear it click. That's not clicking actually. That's odd. It could be that this meter is very sensitive and it's not doing it. Let's try putting either another meter or low voltage through it. I just want to hear it click, make sure it does actually work to some extent. There's no point saving it if it doesn't work. What can we use? I just want like a 1-volt battery or something. I took the leads off my bench supply, or else I'd have used that. Let's see what we've got here. What have we got? What have we got? What have we got? I just want a battery now. I'll take one of these batteries out of this that we was trying before. We'll hold that on there. It doesn't matter which way around we do it, we just want to listen for a click out of the speaker. The speaker might be dead, like I said, if it's had such a an over voltage. But no, there's nothing wrong with that. So we'll salvage that little speaker there. And of course, all these screws, these spare screws, will go in my screw pile because these will all come in, definitely come in handy. Looks like did something get spilt on this at some point? If you look at that, it seems to have splash marks on the speaker, but nice little speaker. So that'll come in handy for a future project. Might take the handle off this. I don't know. I was wondering whether I could perhaps adapt that handle to fit a TR82. I know it's not right. It's definitely not a TR82 handle, but I've got a TR82 body with a handle missing. The radio actually does work, and obviously an incorrect handle would be better than no handle at all. So I'll probably salvage the handle just to see whether I can do something with it and get it to fit that TR82. Let's see how it's fitted now. It's screwed on with some screws down here. So again, that is really just a wonder if. These screws are a bugger to get out. You just have to bear with me a second, chaps, because these screws are a bit harder to get out than I was expecting them to be. They are coming out though. There we go, that's them two out. There we are, that should have it out. There we are. We'll salvage them screws as well because they can go in the screw pot. But that'll, like I said, it mightn't fit, but if it will fit, I'll I'll see if I can repurpose that to go on that old... It's a slightly scruffy TR82, but so it doesn't warrant putting a handle off a good one on it. I'd rather save that for if a really nice one comes with a broken handle. But it does work, and it is an original TR82, so if I can put that on, make it look a little bit more presentable, all the better. Literally just taking these screws out because I don't like good screws that could come in handy to go to trash, so I'll keep them, and that's pretty much it. That, in fact, I'm even considering, oh bloody hell, that nearly went. We will most definitely have the aerial off there. Because that will come in very handy. I mean, they're a couple of quid to buy, and we've got its wire and its screw. I know I have at least one radio in this lot that has actually got a broken aerial on it, so if that's going to be suitable, absolutely brilliant. We've got an aerial for it, and it's not cost us anything, so we'll definitely keep that. Now, what I was thinking, it's a slightly bizarre idea, not particularly for fixing any of these up, but I'm just thinking as a really cool thing for perhaps projects. I wonder if I take my Dremel and I cut the battery holder out. I could take a Dremel and cut around there, cut down there, cut down there, and cut along there, and take that entire piece of plastic out. I've got the rear cover for it. And that would make a really cool battery holder for a project, and it's basically free. So yeah, basically if you see that line on the inside there, if I Dremel round that line, perhaps just a bit higher on the top there, or even a bit further down it, so I left a bit of a lip round it so I could perhaps screw it into some... Yeah, I'm probably going to do that actually. Before this goes in the bin, I'll Dremel out that battery holder, and I'll keep that as well. And like I said, that can be that'd be excellent for any projects that I'm doing in the future. Right, well, so we've I know we've only, you can't really call that a repair because we just got it open and got it working. Like I said, that's going to go in my toolbox anyway. So let's still. Oh, I'm going to took one of the batteries out, didn't I? You dozy sod. Where's that battery gone now? And I've lost the battery. Never mind. Oh, I'm sure it'll turn up. It'll turn up when I stand on it and hurt my foot on it, no doubt. But yeah, we fixed that one, and we've got that one all fixed up and running. So actually, better performer than I was expecting as well. It actually sounds fairly decent. It's just a pity I can't get any more than a few quid for it. But never mind. That's not really what this is about. If I can break even, perhaps just make a little bit of money off this project, then fair enough. No one is ever going to get rich repairing low-end consumer electronics like this, because there just isn't the resale value in it. If you're repairing, you know, Xbox Ones and PS4s and high-end camcorders and things like that, yeah, maybe. You're never going to get rich repairing stuff like this, but it's a bit of fun, you know. I'm just seeing quite how simple some of the repairs can be. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there for now. I hope you enjoyed that little update, and we'll dig through some more stuff on the next video. In fact, I'll just show you the top of this box before we go. I'll take you off the tripod and I'll just take you over and show you the top of this box so you can see what we're going to be looking at. I'm going to bring you around. Okay, now this is the very random box. I don't know if I can't actually zoom out and get you any closer than that, but this box is just, we've got lots of them, which are little Bluetooth speakers. There's lots and lots and lots of headphones. I've tried about 4 or 5 pairs up to now, just randomly trying them. I think like out of the like 4 or 5 pairs, 3 worked, 2 didn't. So there's an awful lot of them, and a lot of them are Sony and Philips as well. What's that? Oh yeah, some weird like sports Fitbit type device. Some more radios. I did try some batteries in these when I first got the lot, and they just worked. I think I tried 3 of them, and all 3 just worked. There's another one of them there. More of them Bush. There's a load of these, and a real load of these. Let's see what else we've got. Oh, more headphones. A thing. I presume it's a Bluetooth speaker of some kind, Bush, or a dock. No, it's a. I think it's some kind of Bluetooth speaker. More headphones. I mean, they're Sony. Yeah, they're Sony. They're probably quite nice headphones. I probably won't sell the headphones first. Well, I'll sell some of them, but I do use headphones quite a lot. Another, was it like Bluetooth adapter? So yeah, I'm going to leave it there for now anyway. So I hope you enjoyed this little update. So thanks for watching and goodbye.